Race 2 of the final round of the Idemitsu Asia Talent Cup gets underway. Pertama, the race 1 winner and pole sitter, who is the first away. Carter Thompson into second one and almost clips the back tyre of Carter Thompson. So no hanging around for who is straight through and onto Denish's tail in P4. That's a vital first race.
Yeah, and a good start as well from Nicholas up into the top 5 as well for the third row of the grid, and to see if he's able to hold off these riders behind him. Yesterday we saw that the lead group able to open up a big gap to everyone else.
Thai rider Veda has been dropped down to as early as turn 10. A big action hotspot that was here yesterday.
Starting grid in time, so he'll be black flagged and have to come back into the pit, so that's the end of his season.
Gets tight, much tighter than it was in the early stages here yesterday, to be perfectly honest. 5 or 6 contact already by the time we get to turn 16 on lap 1.
We've already had 3 races today, and you get in on the track, and that's why we're able to have all those bikes much wider on the run down towards turn 6.
His head down now because he has been cost positions majorly. Start of lap number 2 then. It's Shinya Ezawa trying to go around, making his way through. Ezawa was pushed offline there going in towards turn 1, and that's dropped him back down the order.
Indonesia's championship rival.
So those two not scrapping, but that's still going to be, if anything, work in the favour of Hikindanish because the points swing.
Trying to manage this race as much as possible, points all the way down to 15th, but it's all the way trying to get the big points
up because you're quite sure that it will do, but at the moment 1.5 seconds all the way down to in the last of the points paying positions as things stand. Hakim, 2 championship rivals sitting in 4th and 5th positions as things stand.
Just unrattle and unsettle his rival as well, because in such a big group, that's what it's going to.
At the moment, Carter Thompson already wants a race winner, race 1 in September for a first with best results yesterday. Out to say that the race leader was in a fight because he was away and gone, but no such luck this time around. He led every lap of 3, 16 laps, so a fair way still to go.
Yeah, it's a long race around, a bit of a battle, and other than that start-finish straight, you get no chance to really have a bit of rest time.
Fastest lap or 2 went to Amras Wanto, 1 minute 45.209 for him. Nicholas in second, the 2 Australian youngsters up at the head of the field. Up and cycle rival Shinya Ezawa, and Ezawa's wide over the curves, and Rizwanto is going to pull a...
Yeah, Ezawa's brave as well to try and run around the outside, put a lot of faith in the other riders. To let this leading 3 break away, it's Nicholas Danish and Carter Thompson out in front, and you certainly can't the title right now, and for the 21 of Ezawa, can't give up any margin.
We have generally been quite impressed with some of our young guns. We're talking riders 13, 14, 15 years old. We've got all of the riders, barring Putra, still running in the first to break away from the rear of that lead peloton. Danish getting back through on Carter Thompson, and another new...
2 there, Carter Thompson's going to have a bit of a run on them now.
And on that race, it is the 7th and final race of the weekend here in Indonesia. The Asia Talent Cup race 1 yesterday afternoon. Danish then leads, Carter Thompson in second. And it is something of a pinch point. We've seen close calls already through this weekend in the Asia Talent Cup. We're going to see another one there. Comes again, he's your race leader.
Yeah, and you can see that lead group though is a case of changing places and trading paint all the way through, and for into there already in this race.
We're going to come then towards turns 15 and 16, ever tightening right-handers, and Chain will give him the inside in time for turn 17. He sweeps back across the racing line and recovers that 2nd place at very least for slipstream.
You can see there for Nicholas on the number 12 and then Pertama both into turn 1 coming very close as they make their niche as a chance to break away.
Danish can capitalise on it. He's now half a second ahead of Veda Pertama. If he can beat Danish, remember, in order to claim the Age Talent Cup for 2022. Veda Pertama in second, having anyone around him. He led race 1 from start to finish.
Yeah, from pole position, he's been impressive all the way through on the number 7 machine. Youngest rider in the field. But
this Asia Talent Cup for 2022, such has been the dominance when he has been able to lead races. Danish is now very much
able to break away from Ezawa. He's kept in front of Carter Thompson, but he can't afford to make a mistake. He runs out wide.
And bad news for Shinya. Emma comes through for the race lead on lap 6 coming up, because as long as he sticks with him and stays away from the reach and the clutches of tandem with Pertama, just to try and build their gap for the remainder of this race.
Didn't fight back into turn 1. He understands that if they work together, they've got a second in hand on Thompson. Typically when you talk to the riders and the personnel from the ATC about this track, they say half a second is that gap where you can break away from everyone else.
And of course in these small bike, small capacity categories, the key is to keep up your momentum. The one thing you can't afford to do is see that momentum interrupted. Danish coming back through here on Pertama, but Pertama still maintaining your race lead, and Shinya Ezawa getting a little bit loose there. The circuit gradually evolving, the times gradually improving as this weekend has gone on. Veda Pertama still leads from Hakim Danish in second. Shinya Ezawa getting back alongside Carter Thompson now as they make their way through 14 and 15 in towards the tightest points on the circuit, turn 16. Ezawa now has got to really launch his attack to try and close down Pertama and particularly Dinesh in second.
Yeah, the big thing is, though, over the course of this weekend, in the last few rounds, Carter Thompson's probably been the fastest rider.
Ezawa's going to have other ideas from third position, but you don't very often see groups close back together at this rate. 1.5 seconds is the gap now between second and third positions. Barring an error for Pertama and Dinesh, it's looking good for the number 13 to take this title.
Yeah, the race is won for the race is run as far as Ezawa is concerned, unless he's able to bridge that gap. It's so difficult in the ATC to bridge a gap like that just because of the nature of these bikes. So unless it comes down to a scrap at the front of the field with Dinesh.
A second now though to Shinya Ezawa. New personal best lap for Ezawa as he still continues to scrap with Carter Thompson, but he was almost half a second faster than Pertama and Dinesh a lap ago. He's run off the circuit altogether there, loose as you like, scrapping with every fibre of his body here to close down the top two.
Battling like that doesn't help you. He needed to work with Carter Thompson to be able to close down that gap. Last time around, Thompson had been 4/10 of a second faster than the race leaders. As it is,
letting off and choosing to brake earlier than Pertama just to leave him with track position because he doesn't need to hit the front.
And that's the difference. He's been able to see that if you try and attack them, you can lose time. Whereas with Ezawa trying to come through and Thompson, it's all about making sure you can make that move. So good racecraft there from Dinesh.
It is still Ezawa and Thompson who hold third and fourth position, so Nicholas and Wakamatsu are still behind. Wakamatsu could only manage ninth position in race one yet.
Dinesh, whenever he looks across at his pit board, he'll see that the gap's getting bigger. It's 1.6 seconds. He's just at his personal best and threats out another second over his championship rival.
And Nicholas there on the number 12 getting to the front of that secondary group for third position. So as far as Nicholas is concerned, previous best result of 5th place, moves himself into a podium position for the first time. So very much an opportunity for Nicholas to try and claim that maiden day as well as a Daki. And look at all the other riders. Rizwanto, Fadilla, Fetasan, Hafi all in one group. They're directly behind because Mie, in terms of the third position in the championship, will see that evaporate too on the closing race of the campaign because Veda Pertama is at the front of the field and would snatch third position away overall.
Yeah, Pertama's had such good form over the course of the second half of this season. It's been really impressive to see a young rider like him, the youngest rider in the field. Only to count, there was Dinesh that won both of those races as well, a maximum 50 points on offer for a weekend, and that's the difference right now between them in the championship standings. But you have to say that for the ATC, it's all about making sure that the moments when you can make people step up and take notice of you, that you take advantage of it. Pertama's done that all the way through this season.
Lap 9 is a big one in the context of the championship. Hakim Dinesh with the new fastest lap of the race at 1 minute.
So if there's an instant between them, as it is for Hakim Dinesh, he's not willing to make that move right now. He's just keeping that watch and brief and keeping the pressure on.
And that secondary group now runs from third position all the way to 13th with just 2 seconds separating them. So Thompson, Ezawa, Nicholas and Rizwanto were ahead of the rest, and a group of 4 riders, and then a separate group. The next riders have a go on the number 12 bike. Adaki making good progress now at this stage of the race. I did tell you to watch out for Adaki trying to fight his way through from the 4th row of the grid. He's now up from 10th position and into 6th. And for anyone in this group, if they hook it up, if they stay in the slipstream, if they make their passes cleanly, really any rider at this stage at very least, with 5.5 laps still to go, could take a place on the podium here this afternoon.
Yeah.
Now right on the tail of Nicholas and ready to have a go, you fancy, for 5th position as they make their way now into the final sector on lap 11 of 16.
You can see for Carter Thompson just looking nice and comfortable there at the front of the field. He's shown it all the way through this weekend and in both races that he wants to be in the lead positions in these groups. He wants to be the one dictating the pace.
Yes, third position for him in the Thai Grand Prix race. Still best lap last time around from Veda Pertama. Don't think he's going to break away from Hakim Dinesh too easily. Still only 1.5 tenths of a second between the two of them, and this is where the closest action is, and the most position changes as well. Once again goes to the podium battle.
Yeah, once again, as we've seen so many times past the ATC, whenever you're battling, you're costing each other time. It's 9/10 of a second they lost to the race leaders last time around, so 6 seconds in hand for Hakim Dinesh. He just needs to cruise the final quarter of this race and as well in the junior GP paddock. So this has been a very complete season for him across the board, but now he just needs to make sure he can complete the race and get to claim this AGC title.
Yes, he has managed to lead the championship all the way since March, has Hakim Dinish. Despite that retirement from race 1 in Sepang, he extended his lead over the 2 most recent races, and Dinish instead a couple of non-scores that have proven too costly for him.
Yeah, and that's been the big thing. It's about consistency in the AGC, to be able to come away with a title. Hakim Dinish to be able to do that with a lot of race wins, 4 race wins, and an extra couple of podiums as well. So that's why he's been so consistent all the way through. But you have to say, for his championship rival Ezawa, it's been impressive to see him up inside the top 6 positions in every race as well. He's always been in that leading group, and it's just not going to quite come together for him here today.
It's going to be good that we've had 5 different winners.
Minimum age limits have been rising in recent years for different classes of bikes, so he's going to be on Talent Cup bikes for the next while, but certainly you wouldn't be too surprised to see him racing in Europe as well next season, and see what he's able to fare over there.
Daki, Mie, Thompson and Ezawa in that order. It is Mie now trying to make progress as they come through turn 16. Mie managed to jab it down the inside of fellow countryman Daki to come through.
So it's certainly no reason to be pushing too hard now in the closing stages. Just enjoy the last 3 laps.
I said it at the top of the programme, the calculations were as complicated or as straightforward as you wanted to make them, but for Hakim Dinish, a top 2 finish was going to be enough, even if it was his title rival, or even if it were his title rival, Shinya Ezawa, in front of him at the flag. And as the case is, it's Veda Pertama. The other simple calculation for Hakim Dinish was beat Ezawa. And
you're fighting for a podium in the AGC.
Well, that's it. The reality is, for most of those riders, they don't really care about the championship standings. They don't care who's champion of the Asia Talent Cup. They're just thinking about whether they can get 3rd position this afternoon and walk away with their head held high in the final race.
And after the year, he also wants that final race podium, but there's a few riders in that group as well chasing their first podiums this season.
Thompson in the mix as well, and just eyeing up an opportunity to get through here on Shinya Ezawa. He's up in 5th position and scrapping with Ezawa, and has actually got through by the looks of things for 4th position. We saw them there picked up, making their way through the first sector. Pertama now has a 3-second lead, so this is the kind of dominant pace we've seen for him. Quite happy to run his own race on his own at the front of the field. He's led more laps than anyone else in the Asia, in 8th place, so he still has the opportunity to make up those extra positions and the extra 6 points to claim 3rd overall. But it is going to be Veda Pertama who exits the final turn to make it back-to-back victories and dominate his home round, the Indonesian round, the last of the season. And Hakim Dinish crosses the line in the 2nd place that he is. Shinya Ezawa gets the final step on the podium, and